This video is sponsored by Across the Culture. Head over there to check out this video's transcript, along with many more hip-hop articles.
I'm so grateful, and this is the most coherent and serious you're probably ever going to hear me speak. There's no word for me to describe how much I love you guys, and I really do. I'm so sorry if I hurt you guys and disappointed and offended anybody.
In some ways, it's easier than ever to obtain fame. In a world where everyone is consuming content at all times of the day, all it takes is one seemingly inconsequential song, video, or interview clip to spread like wildfire on the internet, and boom, you're a trending topic, a hot button news story, or, when it all meticulously falls into place, #1 on the charts. But while notoriety is easier than ever to come by, that doesn't mean that it's easy to keep a hold of. And when scrutinizing eyes are everywhere, that fame can turn to ash very quickly. Whether it's some inadvisable tweet from the past or an offhand comment from recent times, cancel culture can spell doom for any artist on the rise. And, generally, it seems as though it doesn't discriminate between age, culture, or anything else. Over the past few years, we've seen the careers of both seasoned stars and promising newcomers come to a drastic halt once the public verdict has been returned. But even if you can make it through the initial storm, the damage to your reputation means that, usually, it's hard to progress much further. Unless, of course, your name is Doja Cat. Rather than spelling the end of her spell in the limelight, her success has only increased in the months and years since she's issued one of those famous on-camera apologies. Born a Malaratna Zandili Dlamini, Doja has made a lane for herself as a fascinating outsider in the hip-hop scene. The daughter of a black South African father and a white mother who she's regularly referred to as a hippie, becoming an artist was Doja's only focus from a young age, even dropping out of school to pursue her musical dreams.
Honestly, I was supposed to go to school, but then I got high. Right after high school, I would sit in my room and look for music and look for beats. I found a couple beats, and I remember having GarageBand on my laptop or my desktop computer, and then I put my voice on top and I just kept doing it. And then I was like, let me just stream this. Maybe there's some cool people on the internet who want to see what I'm doing.
Far from an overnight sensation, Doja's career truly began with 2014's Purr EP on Kimosabi Records, and from the first days of her career, she already seemed like a unique artist. From there, Doja would then return to the shadows for much of the next 4 years, and when she did resurface, the fame didn't come from some timeless classic, but from a meme. After her March 2018 debut album, Amala, didn't even chart upon arrival, Doja's fate looked dubious. But then, she gained the recognition that she'd sought through a track that she has famously described as 25% post, 75% music. Featuring a video that was made with a green screen in her room, Moo became a viral sensation, and suddenly, after years of trying to make it through the normal routes, Doja was embraced by a global audience. And at that point, she insisted that she wasn't interested in changing the world, but simply having fun. "I just like to do the fun stuff," she informed Billboard. "If I'm not having fun with it, I'm not gonna do it for the rest of my life. I just want to bring something fun. The current climate is so uptight and serious, and it's just good to have something stupid to laugh at." From this moment on, Doja was picking up momentum, and naturally, both her and the label had dollar signs in their eyes. But just as her career was looking more viable than ever, the world began to take a closer look at her. And soon enough, the strikes began to mount up in a way that most people wouldn't have survived. For starters, the news that she was on the payroll at Kimosabi rustled a whole host of feathers in the pop sphere that she'd soon be crossing over to with mega hits such as Say So. As by being a member of that roster, it meant that she was working with the disgraced producer known as Dr. Luke, whom Kesha had accused of and a label which she remains on to this very day. Then, just 2 weeks after Moo, some tweets that she made about Tyler the Creator and Earl Sweatshirt resurfaced and caused a massive online stir. At this stage, Doja, as she often has since, refused to back down. "I called a couple people when I was in high school in 2015. Does this mean I don't deserve support? I said it roughly 15,000 times in my life. The same it mean you hate gay people? I don't think I hate gay people. Gay is okay." Given that she was in high school at the time, most of the world was willing to chalk her words up to a simple case of youthful ignorance. But as videos emerged which suggested that she was purposefully entering white or incel chat rooms, the tide began to turn. Having previously mentioned a near religious obsession with a chat room that she still used back in the 2019 interview with Paper, by May of 2020, just 4 months on from Say So becoming a worldwide smash, footage surfaced on Twitter which proclaimed to be Doja on a chat with alt-right white just 6 days ago. At this stage, the hashtag Doja Cat is over party began to pick up steam on Twitter. Compiled alongside a laundry list of other tweets and video clips which users had chalked up to self-hate on Doja's part, these issues were compounded when the world was made aware of her 2014 track Didn't Do Nothing, a term which has its origins in a slur against black people who suffered police brutality. Plucked from the skies after achieving her first #1 single and dropped right down back to earth by everything that came out, Doja made the bold decision to broach it all during a lengthy 30-minute long apology on Instagram Live.
There are people who come in and out of the chat They're there. They happen and then they're banned. The idea that this chat room is a white chat room is, I don't understand it in any way. The narrative that it's a white chat is completely incorrect. I'm in no way into race play. I am completely not into it. The term that I used in the song is one that I learned that day. So people were calling me it left and right, and I used it in a song. And it was to kind of take back and say you to those people.
After revealing she'd filmed upwards of 98 apology videos before opting to speak directly, Doja ended things on a defiant note, which suggested that her apology was genuine. She was still a human, and she wasn't going to stop being herself.
My behavior isn't something that always needs to be followed. I'm not perfect. But then at the end of the day, I shouldn't be doing dumb shit. But also I need to stand up for myself. Instead of making a video about that's diplomatically and politically correct. I just don't want to be somebody who's just gonna sit there and you. And
while some critics remained adamant that she shouldn't be able to carry on as normal, others felt convinced as the hashtag Doja Cat isn't over and We're Sorry Doja began to do the rounds online. Still treated with skepticism by some, Doja's would-be cancellation soon went from a death sentence to a punchline, with Nas even proclaiming himself to be unapologetically black, the opposite of Doja Cat, from the Grammy-winning King's Disease's Ultra Black. Even when an OG of the game could have taken a hardline stance, he downplayed his claims in short order.
I just really was saying a rhyme that rhymed with I didn't even think of it. I didn't even think of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's all love. You know what I'm saying? It's all love. It was just like Michael Blackson Black. It was bars, just lines, man. We play with words, man.
At this time, timelines of Doja Cat's career were being produced as if her time in the spotlight was officially over, as people believed that this cancellation, like many others, may stick. But as we know now, Doja's cancellation was just a minor hazard for her to skirt around on the way to world domination. Seen as one of the biggest breakout stars of the past couple years, Doja's eccentric nature, humorous online persona, and infectious songs have proven to be a winning combination. Having once told The Face that you need to be a little bit of a comedian to be a rapper, Doja's days of incorporating memes into her music are a thing of the past, and she is now, for all intents and purposes, a worldwide pop star. And whether this reinvention has played a role in her escaping the perils of cancellation or not, it is clear she's not dwelling on what happened in the past and has drawn a line under it. Speaking in July of 2021, Doja detailed how you should navigate public outrage, suggesting that by simply sticking around and pursuing your own lane, the public's good graces can be penetrated once more.
When you get canceled, one, it's the context. What did you do? You know?
Right.
So you take what you did. If it is something that's hurtful towards people, you apologize for it and you grow and you move on.
Right.
But then there is times where people will understand you're apologetic or they don't have to accept your apology at all. It's how you handle it. If you love someone back who hates you, we all win.
There it is.
Because that person then learns that you are capable of love.
Unburdened by everything that's happened in 2020, Doja hasn't simply survived, but thrived and became a mainstay across hip-hop and the charts. Spotlighted at award ceremonies the world over, Doja's most successful album arose from the aftermath of her supposed cancellation. Unveiled in June 2021, scarcely more than a year after all the controversy emerged, Planet Her outperformed her previous releases in every conceivable way. Prior to its release, it became the most pre-saved album in Apple Music history and went to sell 109,000 units in its first week, and peaked at number 2 on the Billboard charts. Considering that Hot Pink shifted 37,000 in its initial stages, this proves that, if anything, people are more invested in her than they ever were. After setting out to produce a record that she described to MTV as otherworldly, it seems that people are more than happy to take everything that Doja is offering in this current marketplace. In fact, she's even done the impossible and now harbors more monthly listeners on Spotify than Drake. And if you aren't quite understanding the magnitude of this, then it's time to take it to the timeline. Let's not forget that Planet Her came out 2 months prior to Drake's latest album, and yet she's still ranked higher than him in the months after Certified Lover Boy came out. Although it's a narrow margin, Doja scoring 63.69 million monthly listeners to Drake's 63.3 million is a massive endorsement of not just her star power, but the fact that cancellation wasn't ever more than a stumbling block in her road to the top. Where a minority may hold out, Doja's general audience of suburban teens aren't overly concerned about what she did in chat rooms. All that matters to them is that the easily digestible pop songs that can be parlayed into dance challenges keep coming. As for Doja's hardcore fans, any idea of internalized self-hatred or a problematic past is outweighed by the fact that they can see a slightly unorthodox pop star that they can relate to. Whether you love her or hate her, or you're completely indifferent, Doja Cat found a formula for success that keeps paying off. And by staying as visible as possible, she managed to suppress the allegations that surrounded her by replacing them with one radio smash after another. So, as long as she can avoid any new skeletons from spilling out or creating a fresh controversy, you can expect to see Doja staying in a prominent place on those Spotify monthly listeners lists for years to come.